else is speaking, please don't talk over them. Crosstalk, we're gonna have to avoid that tonight. All right, we got 2 items really on the agenda tonight, so let's make sure we have a clean record.
Call to order for the Planning Commission meeting Tuesday, July 7th. I have roll call, please.
Commissioner Aaron Kuda,
Here.
Commissioner Doug Williams,
Here.
Commissioner Thomas Byrd, Commissioner Jacqueline Gonzalez, Commissioner Antron Kottman,
Here.
Can we have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I need a motion for the approval of the minutes from the meeting on June 2nd. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Cooper?
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is John Cooper. My address is 1600 Huntington Lane, Rockledge, Florida, 32955. I am the Community Development Director for the City of Rockledge. Tonight we have 4 public hearings, and the first 3 are bundled in a nice package for you as a voluntary annexation accompanied with a comprehensive plan amendment and a designation of zoning classification at 222 Yellow Place. The applicant agent is here. And then the last one is a change in zoning classification at 1029 Florida Avenue. The first one is 222 Yellow Place with the annexation CPA and ZDA. The planning department has received an application for an annexation of a parcel totaling 3.61 acres located at 222 Yellow Place, which is south of Barnes Boulevard and west of US Highway 1. The annexation request is accompanied by an application to rezone the subject property from Brevard County IU Light Industrial Use zoning to City of Rockledge IP Industrial Park. Additionally, the applicant has submitted a request to assign a future land use map designation of IND industrial use to the property. The subject property is located within the vicinity of Planning District 7 and contains an existing use that is consistent with the land use categories established in the City of Rockledge Land Development Regulations and Comprehensive Plan. Pursuant to the city's zoning provisions, the IP Industrial Park and/or M1 Light Industrial Zoning Districts may be applied to properties annexed from Brevard County that currently have the IU Industrial Zoning designations. That is read directly from the comp plan. The applicant intends to continue uses compatible with IP zoning. As no change in intensity is proposed, the annexation is not expected to generate additional impacts on traffic, stormwater, infrastructure, or public service. The property is currently serviced by an on-site septic system. However, the applicant agrees that should they change that connection, the connection to the City of Rockledge sanitation sewer system will be required at the applicant's expense. Based on staff's review of the comprehensive plan and the city's land development regulations, the proposed annexation has been determined to be consistent with the comprehensive plan and compatible with the surrounding areas. I've spoken with the applicant, and because this is bundled, we would still need 3 public hearings, and 3 staff has provided the first recommendation. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission review the proposed annexation application and make a motion to recommend approval of the application as presented.
At this time, I'd like to open meeting up for public hearing. Going to close the public hearing.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
you opened the public hearing, but you did not call for speakers or check for speakers.
I will reopen the public hearing. Would anybody like to speak in reference to this particular item?
We did receive one speaker
did?
card from Kelly Delmonico.
Okay.
So sorry, I feel like I'm sticking my foot in my mouth tonight. Hi,
Hi.
Kelly Delmonico. I am the representative for the applicant tonight, the property owner. I don't really have anything to say, except I'm here to answer any questions you might have related to the annexation, the comp plan amendment, and the rezoning. And good evening, commissioners.
Does anybody have any questions?
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you. At this time, we'll close the public hearing. Item.
Not yet. You
The-
gotta,
Oh, I need a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr.
Thank-
Cooper?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission review the proposed comprehensive plan amendment and make a motion to recommend approval of the application as presented.
Go ahead.
Wait, at this time, I need to open this. Is there anybody who wishes to speak on this item? You have a card on that?
Same card for items A, B, and C.
At this time, we'll close the public hearing. Have any questions for Mr. Cooper?
This is the land use. Yes. No problem.
Any
Okay,
other
I'll move to
questions?
recommend to City Council approval of the proposed comprehensive plan amendment for the property at Yellow Place.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission review the proposed zoning district amendment application and make the motion recommending approval of the application as presented.
At this time, I'd like to open this up for public hearing. Does anybody wish to speak? No? Closed for public hearing. Does any of the commissioners have any questions?
Yes. M1 or IP. So IP, M1 and IP are both industrial districts. And the reason that our comp plan addresses those two is because IU in Brevard County is more intense than IP, but less intense than M1. So it's kind of right in the middle of both of those intensities for the city of Rockledge. So our comp plan notices that. So if we do annex a property with that zoning designation, then either one could be applicable because the uses fall kind of in between. Went with IP because it's the least intense that still meets the needs of what the applicant wants.
Do any other commissioners have any questions? Can I get a motion at this time?
All right, I'll move to recommend City Council zoning district
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Second item,
Thank you. The next item is at 1029 Florida Avenue for a zoning district amendment. The subject property is located at 1029 Florida Avenue and is owned by Space Coast Real Estate Trust LLC. The applicant is Praveen Adikula. The planning department has received a zoning district amendment application for a parcel totaling 1.01 acres addressed as 1029 Florida Avenue, located south of Bougainvillea Drive and the west side of Florida Avenue. The applicant is seeking to rezone the subject property from C2 General Commercial to RMU Redevelopment Mixed Use. The subject property is located within Planning District 2 and is currently zoned C2 Neighborhood Commercial. The surrounding properties are also located within Planning District 2 and are zoned for commercial uses on all sides of the subject property. The intent of Planning District 2 is to promote business development and commercial activity by preserving and enhancing areas designated for commercial land uses. The existing C2 zoning of the subject property is consistent with the surrounding development pattern and supports the planning objectives established for this district. Regarding the property located at 1029 Florida Avenue, the city has received, this would be the third, application requesting that the property be rezoned to redevelopment mixed use or RMU. Each application has been processed in accordance with the city's established public hearing procedures, including a review by the Planning Commission and the final consideration by the City Council. Following public hearings, the previous applications were denied by both the Planning Commission and the City Council. In each case, staff recommended denial based on the proposal's inconsistencies with the city's adopted comprehensive plan. Specifically, comprehensive plan provides the following policy guidance regarding residential development within redevelopment mixed-use area. And this is a quote from our comp plan. Existing residential development shall be retained on Florida Avenue. New residential development will be allowed in the redevelopment mixed-use RMU area as defined as follows. North city limits to the north, Dixie Lane to the south, US Highway 1 to the west, and Florida Avenue to the east, comprising approximately 16.2 acres. So to explain this map, I highlighted in blue the area that the comp plan is referring to. The very top of this, as you can see, I'm gonna come over. Leave it.
Janet.
Comp plan. Wow. Point that out because we have had a previously approved redevelopment mixed use and apartments built in that area, which makes it consistent with our comprehensive plan. That language had not been changed since the advent of that plan. It wasn't amended to approve that property. It had always been there. The subject property is located south of Dixie Lane and therefore is outside of the geographic boundaries established by the comprehensive plan for new residential development within RMU area. As a result, the requested rezoning is not consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan, which served as the primary basis for staff's recommendation of denial. The applicant has also asserted that the property may qualify under Florida's Live Local Act. However, the Live Local Act does not require local governments to approve rezoning requests. Rather, the act provides certain development incentives, including provisions related to residential density, building height, and parking requirements for qualifying affordable housing projects located on properties that are already zoned, for commercial, industrial, or mixed-use development. The act does not supersede the city's authority to review rezoning applications for consistency with its comprehensive plan, or to approve or deny such applications based upon that review. This distinction has been communicated to Mr. Adicula on multiple occasions. The subject property consists of approximately 1.01 acres and is currently developed with an existing office building. The applicant has proposed retaining the existing office structure while rezoning the property to RMU in order to develop the rear portion of the site with more than 25 residential units. That would be a half an acre. In addition to the proposals and consistency with the comprehensive plan, staff identified several planning and site design concerns related to the intensity of the proposed development, including the ability to provide and require number of off-street parking spaces, safe and functional vehicular ingress and egress, compliance with minimum open space and pervious surface requirements, adequate internal site circulation, and compatibility of the proposed development with adjacent properties and the surrounding area. These planned considerations, together with the proposals in consistency with the comprehensive plan, form the basis for staff's recommendation of denial. After considering the evidence and public testimony presented during the required public hearings, both the Planning Commission and the City Council concurred with staff's analysis and denied each of the previous applications. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission review the proposed zoning district application and make a motion denying the proposed application. Before you continue, Madam Chair, I'd like to make one statement. Staff's responsibility in the application process is to review the application, to advise the applicant of the application's viability, which I have, and if the applicant chooses to move forward with the application, it is to present the application. Staff does not deny or approve applications. It is my job just to present evidence. The board and the commission are the ones who make the recommendations to any denials or approvals. Wanted to make that clear for the record.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open this up for a public hearing. Is there anybody who wishes to speak in reference to this item? Okay, and we go ahead and set the timer for 3 minutes, please.
This is
Oh,
the,
this is the applicant. He gets as much time as he sent his
Okay,
application.
thank you.
Right. Good evening. My name is Praveen Adikula. Address is 1029 Florida Avenue, Rockledge, Florida 32955. I'm the applicant and agent for Space Coast Real Estate Trust, LLC, which owns 1029 Florida Avenue. First thing, Madam Chairwoman, I want to make a motion to recuse Commissioner Byrd since he has a restaurant, what is it, Shooter's Oyster Restaurant on Florida Avenue. And he's previously filed a, what is it, Form 8B.
We'll let our attorney look at that.
That's fine. 5. So first thing,
Can we wait, can we hold while our attorney?
Yeah, this is in reference to Commissioner Byrd. Looks like there was a Form 8B filed. I am looking here to see precisely which item this was filed under. It looks like it was previously filed with respect to your son renting a building on the site. Was it this particular site, this location at 1029 Florida Avenue? Yeah, it looks like perhaps it was in reference to an agenda item that was before the Planning Commission related to the Turtle Creek development. Does that sound familiar?
Right.
Yeah, do you want to take a look?
So that is correct. That was filed when we had the public hearing for Turtle Creek.
Yeah.
It was filed for that
Yeah, let's let the commissioner review it.
because of the twisted birch was on the property.
Yeah, let's let the commissioner review it and then advise. Was that in 8B filed, and did you recuse yourself in reference to the property that is under consideration here at 1029 Florida Avenue? Or was that for a separate project?
I can speak on that. It was for a separate, it was for the project for Turtle Creek. It was not for this agenda item.
All right, very good. So, yeah, precisely. So, so a couple of things, sir. The applicants generally can't make motions here. Of course, I mean, treating this as a request that the commissioner recuse himself because he has a conflict that would preclude him from voting or participating in the proceeding tonight. He hasn't identified to me that he has a conflict. And the fact that he has identified a conflict for another separate matter doesn't mean that there's a conflict here.
You're aware that him and his family owns Shooter's Oyster Restaurant, which is a half a mile north on Florida Avenue, right across from Madison Grove? And that creates a conflict of interest.
Can you explain how that would
How,
create?
if I were to, I mean, I'm not in that restaurant business, but as far as in the future, I don't know, in case we sell or something and somebody opens a restaurant, something that will compete against him, that's just it.
So,
And that's up to you. I'm just finding what I gotta do.
well, yeah, well, it's not up to me. Florida law provides the instances when a commissioner on a planning commission would be required to recuse themselves, and one has not been identified by the commissioner. Generally, when we look at voting conflicts under Chapter 112, which is the applicable chapter for statutes that would apply here, what we look at is whether or not there is a special economic harm or a loss that is attributable to the individual on the board. And so here, owning a restaurant half a mile away from the proposed site, I don't think that is there's a chance for a special economic harm or loss there. And the reason why is because we look at the size of the class affected by the decision, right? So, there are lots of folks who own businesses or might own homes within half a mile or a mile of your development. And certainly they may all be affected in some capacity, but whether or not that amounts to a special economic harm or loss, I just don't see that here. So I'm going to advise the commissioner that you don't need to recuse yourself because you own a business half a mile away from the proposed development. All right? All right.
That's fine,
Thanks.
thank you. So if we look at the package, the first couple of pages I got from Public Records Request. It is a email from Mr. Cooper to Mr. Vose.
Sorry to catch up. Are you speaking about this document?
Yeah.
Or this was this distributed to the board previously? Would you like to enter this into
Yes,
the
yes.
record?
Yeah.
Does the city, do you guys have any objection to them looking at this? Yeah.
I only have 5 copies. I could get.
Uh, yeah, I'll hand them out. You can proceed.
Okay. So here, he's responding correct. I'm going to prepare a reply today simply indicating that if he would like to proceed, there needs to be an application submitted for a live local. Any rezoning conversation attempt will need to follow the rules outlined in last year's denial. I believe he's telling the attorney to,
Excuse me, what page are you on?
first page, ma'am.
First page. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. To, start the process to deny. This is before the application was submitted, is a predetermined order, I guess. So, and Mr. Vos does say that per our conversation, Live Local Act does not give any rise to any sort of right to a rezoning. And then Mr. Cooper, let me know how you'd like to proceed. Since our last meeting, I have had 2 pre-application meetings with 2 different firms trying to get something submitted, in which they left the meeting understanding this could not work. And then, so this was, when I submitted an email, I asked some questions. It was sent on March 13th. Mr. Cooper, Mr. Vos, Dr. Federal, Mayor, and my planner, Therese Barbie, and myself. So we had a meeting there, and we were told that I can have up to 30 units and 110 feet height, according to Live Local Act. So, and Mr. Cooper said, in order to connect the buildings, he wants the roof, the new building to be in the back and the roof lines to connect. So after that, I wasn't sure exactly how that was gonna be, so I sent all these questions, I sent some sketches. And, I told him, if it's not in here, can you give me a sketch or something so we can, because we were trying to do a site plan, the engineering. So then I never got a response, and I also asked if I could submit a application for Live Local. I'm sorry, with RMU rezoning in conjunction with Live Local Act, because I want to proceed under Live Local Act. So previously in 22, I was denied for RMU rezoning. In 25, I was denied for RMU rezoning again. And then Exhibit 2 here shows that, well, this is the site plans for Ecos and Rockledge. So Ecos was rezoned, but then I guess they had a hearing for the site plans. Exhibit 3 is a denial letter that I got from Mr. Cooper, dated March 27, 2025. First page states that, I'm not gonna read all of it, but Rockledge City Council voted to deny the application to rezone the property based upon competent, substantial evidence, and for the reasons set forth in staff report on application, copy of which is incorporated herein. The motion carried by a vote of 6-0 with 1 abstention.
Excuse me, what page are you on now?
I am on Exhibit 3. It's a denial letter I got from Mr. Cooper.
All right. Continue.
Okay, so next page is the staff report. And Page after that, he has incorporated a copy of the comprehensive plan. And he just showed that on the video. And if you look, policy 2, first of all, policy 1 says that development in this district will be primarily wholesale trade, retail trade, business, professional offices, public and semi-public services, and such other uses which support and are compatible with the intent of this district. Zoning districts that may be appropriate for this area after due consideration by the city include RMU, C1, C1A, or C2. So previously in the application, he has stated that, the objection, he has stated that it is not compatible with the area, but in first policy specifically says you can have RMU. The second policy, which states existing residential development shall be retained on Florida Avenue. New residential development will be allowed in the redevelopment mixed-use RMU area as defined as follows: north city limits to the north, Dixie Lane to the south, US 1 to the west, Florida Avenue to the east. So if you read that, it says new residential development will be allowed. That's future.
Aren't you outside of that area?
I'm south of that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, yeah. So it says new residential will be allowed in the RMU area. And notice it doesn't say new residential will only be allowed in the redevelopment mixed use or RMU area. And then he wrote in there, the subject property is south of Dixie Lane and therefore outside of the defined limits of new residential development within the RMU area. So he's saying that our property is south of Dixie Lane, which is 1029 Florida Avenue, right? It's south of Bougainvillea. And it's outside the defined limits of new residential development within the RMU area. And the RMU area he's talking about is Madison Grove, Old Sears Mall, Old Carnival Mall. So our application was to rezone a property south of Dixie Lane, 1029 Florida Avenue. All that information was provided. It was C2, still a C2, into RMU. So he's saying the property is not inside the RMU area, therefore it cannot be rezoned. It doesn't make sense at all. And then, as we read further, number 5 says, it's under density. So it says residential development will be, remember, will be means future tense, in the future, limited to existing densities, except for the 16.2 acres identified in policy 2, which is the Madison Grove, which may be increased from 14 units to 25 units. So this density is regulating, I mean, that statement is regulating the density for the Florida Avenue district. And it's saying everywhere else it will have the existing density, except in the Madison Grove area, which it was 14, but with all the density bonuses, you can get up to 25. So if his argument was correct, that new residential is not allowed south of Dixie Lane, this directly contradicts it because it's saying residential development will be allowed. That's future residential, which is new residential. That contradicts it. It doesn't make sense because, I mean, his answer was, you're not in the RMU area. Well, I already know that. If I was in the RMU area, I would already be RMU. I don't need to rezone, right? So that's that. And then, of course, staff recommends city council to deny. And then The other thing is, if you look at all the planning districts, there's 8 planning districts. If you look in, are you guys looking at that page? The Appendix A, Planning District Guidelines. Okay, so for Rockledge Drive area, Planning District 1, it specifically says, number 3, to prohibit commercial and multifamily residential development. And then let me see.
Sir, can we just stick with your planning district and stick,
Well,
go ahead and make your point to us?
I'm sorry. So basically, all the other planning districts use certain language, like this is prohibited. That is limited to. And our planning district 2 does not have anything like that as far as new residential. So when you compare, the drafters are using this specific language to prohibit any other, whatever it is. And that is not present in Planning District 2. So he cannot say that new residential is denied south of Dixie Lane for those 3 reasons.
All right, I want to address that point right there, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
He does not, it's not his position to deny anything. It's our position. All he does is present. So if you could wrap this up, what is it exactly you're asking from the commission?
I want to rezone to our, let me finish. I have a couple more things to say. Okay, okay. Previously, we had a disagreement because the Army regulation said you can have 2 separate buildings, and he's saying we have to have one building.
I'm so sorry, commissioners. If we can avoid crosstalk, thanks so much.
Okay, so well, yeah, we have a dispute in the sense that because RMU regulation says you can have a single vertical building with commercial on the first floor, residential above it, or you can have 2 separate buildings. One can be 100% commercial, one can be 100% residential. You look at all the ones, even Ecos that was approved after we were denied. I think it's just horizontal mixed use, which is just 100% residential. So that's one thing. And let me see. And so the last city council meeting, I also have the transcripts for the last planning meeting as well as the city council meeting. But the last city council meeting, some statements were made. So I'm gonna hear.
Oh, hold on.
Wait,
Can you hold on for just a moment? So, Madam Chair, can I address that?
Yes, please.
All right. So I know you would email the city about using an audio file to play for the board. And so before you do, I want to make sure that you understand that in order to present that evidence to the board, you need a copy of the evidence so that we can have it in the record.
Yeah.
Because it's not like live testimony. It's not like you have a transcript.
Yeah. I was gonna give you're Amber, right? I was gonna give her everything. Okay.
Yeah, do you have a copy of the audio file to give to?
I can get it to you today.
Okay, because for the board to consider, it needs to be part of the record.
It's directly from the recording that I got from the city.
Okay. If that's what you got from the city, it's a public record, so we have it. But we just need whatever you're playing so that we have it for the record of this hearing. If that makes sense.
No problem.
Yeah, very good.
So
Thank you.
all right, this is what happened.
Particularly have a concern right here off of Cogswell. This was a residential neighborhood that I grew up in as a child. Marita Bakery used to be right there where Blue Marlins is. And if you go through that development now, there are automotive shops in there. There is a crematory in that residential neighborhood that has elderly residents. So when it turned into a mixed use, that's exactly what you have now. There is a two-story building that appears to be a business, a commercial business. It appears that the top floor are residences and the bottom floor, some type of a tool shop is being run out of it. I would not want that in my development. I don't think anybody that lives here in this city wants this type of, or any of our residents that we represent want this type of mixed use within the city. So if at some point various areas would be more accommodating for this type thing, and if at some point the Florida Avenue parcel, you mentioned sunset of the CRA, if you want to look at it then, but for right now, I would not be in. And if I'm in order, if there's no more discussion, Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to deny. Motion to deny.
We have a motion, we have a second. Those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
If I may,
Sure.
is there a direction to review that? We'll discuss it.
I think his direction is the manager to.
Okay, so I emailed Ms. Martin after that, and I want to know the address of the crematory and the tool shop because I'm not familiar with that area. And she responded that the staff will contact you, and Dr. Federer said, sent me an email saying Mr. Cooper will contact you, and Mr. Cooper sent me an email saying that the crematory is on Baldwin Street, and the tool shop is nearby. And the crematory is not mixed use. It's on industrial land, and the tool shop doesn't exist there. And none of that having to do with mixed use. So she's making false statements and making a false motion to deny. And, this is not right, because by doing that, she's wasted more than a year of our time and thousands of dollars. That just is not right. And also, Mr. Cooper did not correct her, immediately after, or the next day even, only after like 6-7 days later after I sent that email. And Mr. Cooper did not also mention that while they're denying me the RMU and everything, I mean, he could have said, hey, for the past 2 years, the local act went into effect, and under that, he can just build there without rezoning. So I believe that's all wrong, and I don't agree with it. And so, but the core argument is that in his staff report, now it says I have to do what, parking and all this extra stuff. There's more criteria in there that I don't think anybody, it's all site plan criteria. This rezoning is about one thing. Is my plan to rezone compatible and consistent with the comprehensive plan? Clearly, I showed you in there that it is. It does not deny that in the District 2. So that's the only thing I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to, all that extra stuff he's telling you guys in today's staff report is all the stuff you do in a site plan review. That is way down the line. And he's trying to bring in extra stuff to prevent me from doing this project. That is not right. And, so that is it. And I want to be approved for RMU rezoning, which I should have been approved for RMU rezoning. And I've submitted paperwork where we check the transcript, compare the transcript, and it's always some different. The reasons are changing. Before it was it's not consistent with the site plan. It's 2 uses. Well, RMU is supposed to be 2 uses. I mean, it can be 2 uses. and then it was spot zoning. Now you don't see spot zoning anymore. So the reasons are not consistent. Things are changing. And as this go, and if you're denying me, I'll be back again next year. And the records are getting high, and I made a website, and I'm sending even the narrative is now like 15, 16 pages. So it's just going to keep on increasing, and I don't want to deal with all that stuff. I just want to get my rezoning, which I should have gotten back in 22, because there's nothing in the comp plan that denies it. Thank you. Any questions?
I don't have any questions. I think the only thing we're looking at is the compatibility of the rezoning. So I don't think anybody on the board has any questions for you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I'm submitting all the paperwork to Amber.
Thank you. I'll try to address most of the things that were said. The initial thing that was said in the beginning is the city attorney does not make any determinations about zoning applications. They don't make approvals or denials for the application. My response to the city attorney was based on whether or not I should reply because of the denial. So in our code, what it does say is that once a application has been denied, then the same thing cannot be reapplied for within 12 months. So my question to the city attorney was advising on whether or not or how to proceed based on that language. It was not about approving or denying the application. I also think it's a little disingenuous. I sat down with Mr. Adicula in 2022, 2023 in my office several times to go over the application to try to find a way to make it a viable application. And as I've told him over and over again, we don't approve RMU or other development rezoning applications on a blanket approval because there's so many uses within those zonings that approving it just gives you carte blanche to do anything. So what he told me was what he wanted to do, which was apartments. So when we dove into that, we started to realize that it wasn't all compatible. So if you get RMU and you do apartments, here are the layers in which you got to unfold that in order to make it work. That's when we discovered all the language about where it's restricted in our comprehensive plan. I have no qualms with building affordable housing according to our comp plan and according to our plan wherever he wants to build it, if it's the highest and best use on his property. I'm only outlining what our comp plan says and what it does. The fact of spot zoning has been consistent. You've heard me say it over and over again. No, I did not mention it this time because that's something that is ingrained in how we review applications. But zoning is not just for the individual, because if it were, we would rezone 14,000 properties in the city of Rockledge, because everyone would come in and say, I need to rezone this property because I want to do A, B, C, and D. So when we look at it, we don't just look at what the comp plan says in these a la carte pick zonings. We look at it, we look at the surrounding areas, and we make a determination based on the best fit for the city in the future. So yeah, he's absolutely right. Florida Ave, Planning District 2, it does list RMU in one of the policies. You're absolutely right. It also lists C2, R2, it lists a whole bunch of different things. But it also says what is best and what is compatible for the city and for the surrounding area. Everything that surrounds that property that's in red is C2. I'm not saying that he can't have RMU. What I'm saying is that from my perspective and what's best for the city is that RMU is not compatible with the surrounding area. And if we did RMU, what are you going to build? You're going to build apartments, then show me how apartments would work on that property. If you're going to do mixed use, show me how mixed use would work on that property. So no, there's not a different narrative. It's all the same narrative, but they're all connected. They're all connected because they have to be, because we can't just rezone the property to one thing and you be on your way. We have to protect the city, and that's what we do in every rezoning. So when Councilwoman Martin made the statement that she made, in her mind and in her interpretation, that area is mixed use development, because her interpretation is mixed use development is when I go down a neighborhood and I see different uses on different properties. Not my job to correct council in the middle of what council's doing. That is not my job. So what I did is when she got in contact with the city manager, I replied to the city manager saying that no individual building is mixed use, but there is mixed uses there. There's a crematory, there's residential. The one house that she thought was a mechanical building, it's not. It's just a guy who's got a big garage. And that's what I said. Not my job to make those corrections. It still has no impact on the application that was already denied. I can't go back retroactively and change what was already decided. So just wanted to clarify those things, and also to clarify that it's my job to help an applicant get to where they need to get to. But when the applicant does not want to believe what I'm trying to get them to, I can only present the facts to you guys, and you guys make the decision that you want. And the facts are, yes, Florida Ave District does allow RMU development. You're absolutely right. The question that you have to consider, and I'll leave it to you, is RMU compatible in that district and in that area? And if RMU is compatible, then what use out of RMU would you allow in that area? And that's from the planning perspective. Sorry for being long-winded.
That's fine. You have a question? Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Cooper, what year did we adopt this portion of the comprehensive?
The portion of the comprehensive plan was in 2009, I believe.
I believe it was.
Yes.
Okay. I want to point out that in the RMU zoning code, what I'm reading here is that compliance and compatibility with the comprehensive plan is a mandate.
Right.
Number E. I've done several live local projects, sir. Know what it takes to do them. I would have liked to have seen you present a project or a concept. You presented an argument. There's no argument here. It's not compatible. I'd like to make a motion to
But
deny
not yet.
it.
Hold on, just,
He wanted to read.
Okay.
yeah, just so we have a roadmap for the rest of the hearing, this is a good opportunity to question Mr. Cooper on anything you may have, and we should let the applicant respond to Mr. Cooper. We
Yes.
should call for additional public comment, if any, and then at that point, close the public hearing and then have discussion.
Thank you. Nobody has any questions?
That's great. Thank you.
Sir, did you want to come up?
If you'd like to give some closing thoughts, or if you'd like to discuss what Mr. Cooper.
Thank you. So I disagree. He wants us to tear down the existing office building and build a new building with commercial on the first floor and residential above, even though the code says you can have horizontal mixed use. And that you know, he keeps saying that it doesn't say that, and he will go on about this is the true intention of mixed use, or the true intention of RMU, rather. And no document has ever been provided about that. It's just like he's making it up on, and it says the opposite in the code. So after the way, I mean, it's been almost 5 years. I've done, I've tried to do this their way, what he's trying to do is put a roadblock and saying, I got to demolish the existing building. So, you can't come here and say things like that. Yeah, of course, well, it's a presentation, but now they agreed I'm eligible up to 30 units under the Live Local Act. So one of the questions I asked was, well, if I build 1 or 2 units, can I switch to can I rezone to RMU? Because what I want is under RMU, the minimum apartment size is 550 square feet, whereas under C2, it is 800, plus there's more restrictive setbacks. But it's always the same runaround, and he'll just say, oh, this is the true intention. All right, show me where the document is. There's no document. And that's not right. And I didn't say you got to correct it right during the presentation. You could have done it after or a day later. And all this time, Live Local Act was active. And even with that, we sent him verification letter. It took like a couple of weeks for him to, we had to get a meeting, and my planner had to drive here from Tampa. Mr. Vos, I'm sure he had to come here from Orlando, just so Mr. Cooper can say, oh, yeah, you can get the 30 units and 110 feet. So it's been, my time and my money have been wasted. It is not right. And, you can't just sit here and lecture me with stuff like that when you weren't here from the beginning. And I tried. I had another consultant, and last time I thought we had some kind of deal, but then again, at the end, Mr. Cooper came and said, "Oh no, it's not consistent with the Army." Now you can say that, but I showed you in the plan where it is consistent. You can say it any way you want. It is consistent. Period. It's going to be online. It's going to be on YouTube. There's no way you can challenge it. Go ahead. Try it. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion.
Oh, hold on.
Time.
If we could call for any additional public comments at this time.
I just want to make one comment in a rebut that.
If you could do it after the public hearing's been closed, that would be preferable.
Is there anybody who'd like to speak? At this time, we're going to close the public hearing.
Very good. Floor's yours.
There was a comment that you just made that we weren't here from the beginning. There are some on this commission who have been here from the beginning of your application, who are very familiar. And what this board is here today to address is something very simple. It's the change of zoning classification without all the rest of the gobbledygook that came with it. So at this time, does anybody have questions or discussion? No, you are.
I'm not, but I will say this. In defense of this wonderful community, this board who's heard this twice, and Mr. Cooper, who I have lived here 8 years and found to be nothing but professional, I was a little bit insulted by the applicant. And I'm sorry, sir, I know that you're disappointed. However, I'm making a motion to deny this. I would like to make a motion to deny this application. I got to read the right one. Blue one, thank you. I'm going to make a motion right now to recommend to the city council that we deny, again, this application for the proposed zoning district change, because I'm going to say it would indicate spot zoning. And sir, we don't do that in this city. This corridor is for business. It states that.
Can we
Yes,
just?
I know. I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion to recommend denial to the city council of this proposed zoning district change from to RMU.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We're adjourned.